All right, testing, 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 testing. All right. Okay. Welcome everybody. Oh my gosh, we're live. It is Sunday, September 7th, and right now as we speak, it is the lunar eclipse, full moon in Pisces, and that energy has been triggered. Um, so this is a live recording. It will be posted on my YouTube channel for those of you who can't be here with me live today. Um, I'm going to talk a little bit about the eclipse in a moment, but I want to start this ceremony is however you want to say it, um, with the symbolic candle and herbs that I have here. Intention is everything, and the lunar eclipse is about shedding what no longer serves us. And also, it's moving forward in that same space of Pisces, that part of your chart with the North Node there. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but I want to talk about the candle first. We're going to light it. Well, I'm going to light it. And if you have a candle with you, then I highly recommend you lighting your candle at the same time. Energy knows no bounds, and can travel at any distance. It is expansive, it is infinite, and the power of intention is everything. And so, working with herbs and working with the power of color and the intention and understanding the whole symbolism can really change everything for us as a collective and individually. So, I can explain to you the candle thing. If those of you that follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a clip of it. Um, right now, it is a lunar eclipse full moon in Pisces, and the color green represents the moon. And um, Jupiter is the host for this lunar eclipse because this full moon lunar eclipse is happening in the sign of Pisces. And traditionally, Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces. And so, because of that, Jupiter is the host of this lunar eclipse. Jupiter is also in the sign of Cancer currently as we speak. And Cancer is the zodiac sign that the moon rules over. So, it really is um, powerful energy working with the moon and Jupiter with this lunar eclipse. And so we've got the colors of Jupiter and the moon here with purple and green. Purple is the color of Jupiter, and green is the color of the moon. I do have a bay leaf. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a little symbol on there. And that symbol is the Dharma wheel. And not to get into karma and dharma too much, because that's a rabbit hole that we could go down. And it's very extensive to really understand the full meaning of karma in itself and dharma. But on a real simple note, karma and dharma energy really does work with the eclipses, with the south node and the north node, helping us to shed what no longer works for us, releasing some karmic energy, and helping us to move forward where we need to move forward in our life path for our soul's evolution, working with and towards dharma energy. And so we want good, positive, abundant, and manifesting Dharma energy. And so I put that symbol on the bay leaf. The bay leaf really does symbolize our self-awareness and our observation. And this is key with healing. This is key with bringing awareness to any type of shedding, anything that you need to let go of, anything that you need to surrender, anything that you need to open your eyes to subconsciously. This is a full moon. We're working with the subconscious. Things rise up. Observation and awareness is so key. Um, to really awaken, right? And create a new perspective. So we've got that with the bay leaf. It's really powerful when it burns. I can't wait for it to reach that point. I do have a white and turquoise string. The white symbolizes just divine energy and healing. White is of pure energy, and the turquoise is representative of Pisces, um, really soulful, transcendent energy of Pisces. We're being asked to look beyond the logical, but also use those details. We'll get into that. But, anyways, it's of the soulful Pisces transcendent energy. Now, the herbs that I have in there, I have maple. Maple is of renewal, it is of transformation. The maple tree, especially at fall time, it's renewing. It's the leaves are starting to change colors. And the springtime, again, renewal, they come back. So this is a real time of renewal and transformation for us on a different level individually, but also as a collective. And so I put in maple in there, green maple. I have pine in there. Pine is of longevity and endurance. Pine trees last through winter, summer. They're always thriving. And we want to intend that we thrive and that we have the endurance to be able to let go so we can move forward with endurance, right? We have the longevity and endurance. I've got rosemary in there. Rosemary is a very spiritual herb and it really will help to connect us to our soul self. And I'm going to be guiding you through a meditation that I'm so excited. I'm so excited just to hear what happens for you guys when you go through this guided meditation, what you experience. So I encourage you to share with me in the comments at the end of this live. If you're here joining me through the meditation, even if you're watching the recording and you join me on the meditation, let me know in the comments what your experience was because rosemary really does help us to connect to our soul self. And there's no one better to guide you than your soul self because your soul self loves you with the utmost condition and grace and kindness and is part of you that is working towards your soul's evolution. So uh, we're working with healing messages through the meditation to connect with your soul self. So Rosemary is going to intend that and contribute to this ceremony. Cinnamon is the last herb that I have in there, and cinnamon for this ceremony is setting the intentions to amplify our intentions, to really solidify them, to ground ourselves in these intentions. These intentions are not just for me. This intention is for you and is for all of us as a collective as I light it. So I'm going to light it. Where's my lighter? And I encourage you to, again, have a candle if you want to light it at the same time with me. It's symbolic, and the symbolism is very, very powerful. So here we go. So solidifying all our intentions, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I do intend for Spirit to come forward to guide me through this live. I intend for your spirit team to guide you and to come forward and just provide for you today some comfort and unconditional love for where you need it most. So it is. Okay. So I'm going to put this candle back here. And this is our ceremonial for this lunar eclipse. And we're going to get started. Okay, so I am going to change the screen that I'm sharing. And I'm going to pull up the, actually, before I do that, I'm going to be pulling up the real-time natal chart, or not natal chart, the real-time clock on the, yeah, on the chart, on a birth chart of where the planets are currently right now with the eclipses and the full moon. But what I'm going to do is pull off this page. Oh gosh, I left this up? My apologies. That ceremony, my apologies. And I'm like, let me come back here now that I did this ceremony with the that screen up. Again, my apologies. Let me just check here and see where I'm at. Um, you know, this is the first time I've been live um, to actually talk to people. And so I'm going to give it a few minutes. I think there's a delay, but I am going to show you the ceremony candle again. I'm going to bring it up close because it's my bad. I had the screen still on. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. So here it is. Here is the symbolic candle, and there's all the herbs in there. Again, there's the bay leaf, and on the inside is the Dharma wheel. We have purple for Jupiter and green for the moon. We have the white for divine healing. We have turquoise for Pisces, and we have maple, pine, rosemary, and cinnamon inside the herbs with intentions that we talked about for the lunar eclipse. Okay, so now let me share my screen again, and I'm going to bring up the chart, and I'm just going to talk about the eclipse and a few things before we really get started. Here we are here, and share. Okay. I'm just going to give it a few minutes on my end to make sure that I'm seeing this properly before I move forward. And we should be seeing the time clock. And I'm going to remove some stuff here, actually. Okay. I'm just going to remove some planets from this chart. Okay. So right now, you should be seeing the chart, the real-time clock for September 7th, where we're at right now with the lunar eclipse. And I just want to check on my end that it's showing up. It's a little bit delayed here. Yep, there we are. Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, we're ready to get started. My apologies for these delays. Again, I'm live and I'm just rolling with it. And I'm going to be checking the chat periodically. So if you have any questions along the way, excuse me, please do put it in the chat. And I will try my best to keep up with the chat along the way as well. Okay. All right. So I want to just talk quickly about eclipses. So you have a basic understanding. I am going to be under the assumption that most people that are watching this right with me right now may be at a beginner stage of knowing astrology beyond your sun sign, and seeing it in a chart like this. This is the real-time clock for where the planets are right now with the lunar eclipse. I've got here we've got the moon here. I'm actually going to pull up. So yeah, let me put this over here. Oop. Okay. Okay. I'm going to my color. Let's use purple for Mercury. Actually, purple for Jupiter. Or we can use green for the moon. Let's use green for the moon. Okay, so we've got the moon here. And we've got the sun over here, right? So this is the full moon in Pisces right now. That's where we're at today. And then we have the lunar eclipse. And this is marked by this north node right here. And again, that is just an energetic point. The nodes are not celestial bodies in the celestial, in the cosmos. They are energetic points that are connected with destiny and fate. And the north node, along with the south node, keep us on track in our soul's evolution on our life path. The south node helps us to shed And the North Node helps us to move forward. So it's endings and beginnings. So when we talk about the eclipses are about endings and beginnings. And usually it's about every 2 to 2.5 years, they move axes within the zodiac. So they change signs. Currently, we're in the Pisces Virgo axis of the eclipse period. But in a year and a half, that's about the time that the Pisces Virgo, it's going to switch over to the Leo and Aquarius axis, and it continues to move. Now, this is a little bit of a shorter cycle for the eclipse period. Usually they're about 2 to 2.5 years. This one's about a year and a half. And we're right in it right now with the lunar eclipse. Um, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure that I stay on track. And I'm going to try to slow down and not go too fast with this. Um, okay. I think that's it. That's a basic understanding of the eclipses. They happen every 6 months. There is a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse happening every 6 months. And again, it's a trigger point of energy connected with the moon, right? The nodes are connected with the moon and it's connected with fate and destiny. And what happens is at the moment that that energy is triggered, it doesn't necessarily mean that something's going to happen at that moment. It's possible, depending on your chart individually. But what it means is that that's a trigger point from that point up until 6 months forward where something's going to happen in your life. Um, it could be one thing, it could be multiple things, but it is something that is based on destiny and fate that you have no control over. You cannot stop it. It will happen. And it's meant to happen to keep you moving forward and to let go of what's no longer serving you. So the eclipses are just such a beautiful song and dance and the part of our soul's evolution that I just think is so beautiful and magical. And I'm really excited to talk about it. Okay, so um, I'm going to be introducing numerology and talking about the numerology with the planets and the exact degrees that is happening here with these planets. Um, and I also will be introducing the tarot that's associated with the planets as well at the end, after I talk about the astrology and the numerology. I don't want to get too confusing, so I want to kind of keep things separate. The numbers I will be talking about that are very relevant in this lunar eclipse is 1, 0, 3, 5, 6, and 9. Um, this really is, I mean, it's a total lunar eclipse, and this really is a point where we are letting go of something very significant, but we have to use our will. The will is extremely important in creating. There's a shedding and a letting go and an ending of something, so something new can blossom. But it's finding that balance within the physical, the spiritual, to create that change. But the will is very important. So we're going to talk about that. Um, I encouraged you to pull your own natal chart. I really hope that you did because you really got to understand what area of life this is happening for you in the Pisces part of your chart. That's going to be different for everybody. Everyone's going to experience this a little bit different, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. I'm going to quickly run through each house. There's 12 houses in the chart, and the basics of what each house represents and means, the topics. So you understand, if you're looking at your chart, look to see where is the Pisces part of your chart, what house is that in, and then when I get to that house, you'll have a basic understanding of what those topics are. You can also go to soultosoul.ca under the astrology tab, and you can, there's information on the houses there as well. Um, Before I do that, I also want to share the significance of the experiences and how different they can be for people. Not all eclipses are going to be like a wow, big, physical manifestation before your eyes. Um, Sometimes nothing really happens at all. for a person. And this could be if you have absolutely no planets in those zodiac signs. It may not be your experience, but you may witness the experience happen to someone else. Because we have to remember that the natal chart not only represents our own self, but it also represents the people in our lives. And they are part of our song and dance of life and our evolution. We're not here to do this alone. And so you may witness somebody else experience something very, very significant in this eclipse period, but for you, it may not be something that, significant this time around. It depends on where your planets are within your natal chart. If you do have planets within the sign of Pisces or Virgo, you're going to experience this a little bit more significantly. If you have planets in the sign of Pisces or Virgo at the exact degrees of the moon, sun, Mercury, north node, south node, um, you're going to experience this even more significant. And if you are a Pisces rising, a Virgo rising, a Gemini rising, or a Sagittarius rising, this may very well manifest physically in your life experience because those rising signs are within angled houses. And so I'll stop there for a moment and I'm going to go through the house topics. I'm going to check with chat and just refresh my page here for a moment. I do feel like there's a little bit of a delay, but I just want to see, check in to see if there is. I know there's some people here with me live, which is, I appreciate you so much. Um, but I don't want to forget about chat. So I'm just going to check. I don't see anything here right now. But again, any questions along the way, please do let me know and I will come back and check from time to time. Okay, so what I want to do is just give a brief breakdown of what the topics are within each house before I move on to talk about the transits and the numerology that's associated with it. And I encourage you to have some paper and a pen just to take notes. Um, but I'm just being inspired by spirit to inspire you to take these notes um, based on your own intuition. As contemplation is very, very important in working with our intuition. So, and the birth chart, I would say the birth chart, the chart, a chart, astrological chart is an oracle. And so, as I'm talking about the planets and this full moon and this lunar eclipse, the Mercury, Jupiter, all the connections together, as I talk about the numerology, I want you to think about the topics that is for you in your life in the Pisces part of your chart, but also keep in mind of the Virgo part of your chart because this is an axis, right? So this is a toggle, and this is like there's they're polarity points. So they work together. And with Mercury and the sun being in Virgo, it's very relevant for this full moon lunar eclipse and bringing awareness. Okay, so just kind of be in contemplation and tune into what you are intuitively feeling as I'm talking for your own life experience, for where you're at in the Pisces part of your chart. And have some paper and pen handy just to kind of take your notes of what you're receiving intuitively. Kind of helps you to tune into your higher self, as we lead up to the meditation. Okay. Okay, so the first house is right here. I'm going to stick with the green. Okay, so I'm just going to put a star in each house so you can see where we're at and where what I'm talking about first. So the first house is right here. It's always on the left-hand side of the astrological chart, always marked by number 1. This house, if you have Pisces in this house, this is an angled house. And angled houses mean that when there are planets and transits there and astrological celestial events happening, like this full moon lunar eclipse, if it's happening in an angled house, you will most likely you will experience something manifest physically in this world. Angled houses will manifest physically in our world. You will experience it kind of right before your eyes type thing. Now, with the first house, if you have Pisces in your first house, this is all about you physically. This is like your physical body. This is how people see you. This is all about you and how you move and navigate through life in your physical body that is here to fulfill your life soul's purpose. And so um, you would definitely be experiencing something within your own self, changing and shedding something like within you that needs to let go physically, or even mentally and emotionally, so you can move forward physically. And that's what the first house is about. It's pretty straightforward. The second house is right below it. Second house is all about value. It is the house of finances. It's the house of possessions. And when I talk about value, it's not only value in finances of how you make your money or possessions of the material objects that you have. It is also your own self-value and how you value yourself within. So that is the second house. Moving on to the third house below, right next to it. The third house is the house of communication. It is the house of your day-to-day activity in your local community. It is a house of friends, of neighbors. It is a house of siblings. It is also the house that's connected to our dreams. All right, the fourth house, which is right here. The fourth house is the house of family and foundation. It is a karmic house. Again, it's another angled house. The fourth house is connected to, they say the mother, but it's also in connection with the father as well. But it is a foundational, karmic, family, ancestry house. Real estate would go into this because real estate is based on that home and the structure to contain a family and provide that foundation. So that's what the fourth house is about. The fifth house over here, right next to it, is the most favored house on the in the astrological chart. This is the house of pleasure. It is the house of creativity. It is the house of romance. It is the house of children. And it is the house of creativity and romance in a sense of having sex to create a child, to birth creation in this world. And that can happen not only through romance and sex, that can also happen through art. That can happen through music. That can happen through anything that is creative, through poetry, through food, and making some creative food that's going to help to inspire somebody in a creative way. This is where you can really open and expand your mind in the fifth house and use your creativity in such a great way to birth something. That's why it's such a favorite house. Yeah, there we have it. The sixth house, it's right here. The sixth house is the house of work. It is house of employment and of employers. It is the house of physical illness, um, injuries. It is a house of service. It is a house of small animals. Um, It is the house of daily habits. So it's those daily habits on a day-to-day basis that can affect your physical health and could possibly cause injury, but are also connected to the daily habits and regimens that we need to have in place, that we should have in place in order to fuel our work, our employment, our employers, and then there's small animals as well, as I said. The seventh house is also another angled house. This is a house that can manifest physically. This is the house of relationships. This is a house of one one-on-one relationships. It's the house of marriage, commitment, but it's also the house of partnerships. It is the house of interpersonal relationships. So, although it's a house of commitment and marriage and one-on-one relationships, it's not always, when transits pass through your seventh house, it's not always about a marriage or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse or a partner. Sometimes it's about the one-on-one relationship you have with your child or with a coworker or with a friend or with a neighbor. It's that interpersonal relationships with the next person, but just you and that other person and nobody else involved. Seventh house. All right. Moving on to the eighth house. Oh, the eighth house. The eighth house is, they say it's an idle house. It is a dark, deep, transformative house. It is a house of inheritance. It's the house of resources. It's the house of resources received through inheritances. It is also the house of debt. It is the house of resources that is received through receiving loans, money from other people that ends up being debt. It is the house that where oftentimes you may have to repay that debt when you have transits coming through. It is also a metaphysical and also a spiritual house. It is a deep, darker house that also incorporates sex on a darker, underground kind of level. It's mysterious. It's a transformative house that where it's like a house of death and rebirth, but not in a literal sense. It's a house of death and rebirth in the sense of transformation. So it's like the tower card. Think of the tower card when you think of the eighth house. All right. The ninth house is the house of higher wisdom, higher knowledge, um, foreign travel. It's a house of philosophy, of spirituality and religion. Um, and in spirituality and religion, of being higher knowledge and seeking that higher knowledge. We learn to shape and form our philosophies, but they also can merge and change through that seeking of higher knowledge. It's also associated with universities as well because of the higher level of knowledge, whereas the third house, right, in its polarity point and its axis point is about education, but on a local community. So it would be like elementary school, high schools, kind of more local education. Okay. The 10th house is the house of public career reputation. I don't really need to say any more than that. That's where, yeah, it's an angled house. So again, manifesting physically. Yeah, it's how you're viewed in the public, in a public eye, and it's also will give a lot of information to your career, not your day-to-day job, not the workplace, not your employment of working with employees and employers like the sixth house, but of your career and how you're put out there in the world. So yeah, there's more to talk about the 10th house. Also, the midhaven, this is going deeper into astrology, but another energetic point that is extremely important in astrology and in your chart, and that often falls into the 10th house. It can be the ninth or 11th, but it's often the 10th. Stop talking, Tracy. Don't get into too much rabbit hole stuff. Keep it simple. The 11th house is the house of groups and friends and alliances. It's the house of hopes and dreams and aspirations, and we achieve that through groups and friends and alliances because we can't do it alone. Um, and really, that's again straightforward of the 11th house. And the 12th house, the house I know best. This is the house of, they call it the house of bad fortune. And I really don't like that they call it that. But unfortunately, it is a very challenging house. It's the house of self-undoing, they call it. And what that means is that it's a challenging house that will, of addiction. It is the house of mental institutions, jails, hospitals. It is a house of self-sabotage. It is a house of detriment, but with a higher purpose of healing, so you can be of service to other people. That's what I know with the 12th house. I have a stellium here. In this house, if you have planets here, um, the challenges that a 12th house causes, the real intention is to create enlightenment, for you to heal, to be of a higher level of understanding, awareness, so you can help the next person who needs healing. That's what the 12th house is about. So, as hard as it is, there are blessings as well, because it's of either way. You're either going to fall and succumb to the 12th house, or you're going to rise up in the 12th house. But it is a challenging way along the way. Okay, so that is the 12th house system and the topics that are within each house. So I hope you have your chart and know where Pisces falls in that space for you. Um, so when I move forward now with talking about the planets, you understand what it is for you and what area of life it is for you. Okay. Um, the first thing that I want to talk about, let me just, I'm gonna put my glasses on here so I can see properly, along with the transits here. Okay. This lunar eclipse and full moon, I feel is a very mental and emotional experience of powerful consciousness. And I'm going to explain why. And I really see it in how close Mercury is. I want to see if I can't use a shape. No, because my drawings are kind of wonky, but that's okay. So I just want to talk about Mercury for a minute. Just because Mercury is where I'm at in the healing series. Um, on my YouTube channel and as well as Instagram. And Mercury has an important role to play in this eclipse series, not only in Pisces, but in the axis of Virgo and Pisces. Because Jupiter, yes, is the host of this lunar eclipse that we're in right now. But in 2 weeks from now, we have a solar eclipse that is encouraging us to move forward. And Mercury is the ruler of the solar eclipse. And Mercury right now stands at 5 degrees away from the sun in Virgo, which is shining light on this full moon in Pisces, helping us to bring awareness to what's lying in the subconscious that we need to let go of in the Pisces part of our chart. So Mercury is very important in this, because Mercury is over on the other side in Virgo going, look at the details, shining light on conscious light, going, look at this, because it's very important to not avoid uh, the full moon energy, and the full moon will often bring up those subconscious. And as we're talking about that, the bay leaf is starting to go now. Ah, let me bring this up closer so we can see. It's beautiful. Okay, we don't want to start any fires here, so we'll leave it right there. Okay. So when we look at Mercury at being 5 degrees away from the sun, which is shining conscious light on the moon, the full moon, as well as the north node, um, it is 5 degrees away from the sun. It's at 10 degrees, Virgo. So I want to take a minute and talk about the numerology around Mercury and the understanding that right now this lunar eclipse really is a mental process that's kind of more within, that is, of course, connected to our emotions, because anything within the mind immediately connects towards the emotions. It's the mental process that starts first, not the emotions. It's always the mind. And so if we need to shine light, we need to also understand what's going on in the mind so we can understand what we're observing, right? We need to understand mentally what's going on. And with Mercury being at 10 degrees Virgo, I'm seeing the number one and the one number zero, 5 degrees away from the sun. Um, I want to take a minute to talk about the number one, the number zero, and the number five. The number one is of our physical body, and of our physical world. And zero is a spiritual number of infinity, the expansiveness that is never ending, right? It's that circle. So one's physical, zero is spiritual. And when we look at Mercury, Mercury in itself is masculine and feminine. Mercury can travel between both worlds. Um, Hermes can go into the underworld, but Hermes can also come out into the outer world. He is the messenger. He sends messages. And so we're looking at number five as well, connected to the sun and to the moon in the 15, right? The sun and the moon is at 15 degrees. There's the one there, physical, and there's the five. Five is of change. Um, Five is about reaching freedom from boundaries and how that is attained mentally. When we look at the number five in a birth chart, and I'm not talking about astrology now, I'm talking about numerology. On a birth chart, I'm going to just draw it out here for you so you can have a basic understanding. So, a birth chart for numerology is like this. And number five sits right in the middle. So it is like literally in the center of the birth chart. So the change that is so profound with number five is so profound because it's a matter of breaking boundaries and creating that freedom. Um, those who are life path five, you get a stroke of luck, but you also are on a path of creating that freedom from boundaries. And so, really, this is part of this lunar eclipse and Mercury helping to bring some messages to create that balance from the physical world and from the spiritual world to create that change for you, to shine some light consciously, physically, number one, consciously, Mercury, to create the change, number five, with the sun being in opposition to the moon in Pisces. I hope I'm not confusing you. This is how my Virgo mind works. And Virgo, Mercury rules Virgo, and it's binary code, ones and zeros, right? So we're like, put the pieces together. I don't want to confuse you. I'm going to bring it back again. One is of the physical world, physical body. Zero is of the spiritual world. It's infinity. It's marked by the never-ending circle. Number five is of change, profound change because of breaking boundaries for freedom. And we can see that um, in the numerology that's connected with the astrology, with Mercury being at 10 degrees and the sun and the moon of this full moon being at 15 degrees. Okay. So the sun and the moon is at 15 degrees, but with numerology, we need to add. There's always the process of adding the numbers together because you're always trying to get down to that single digit. And so when we look at 15 degrees at the sun and the moon, we're adding it down to a number six. And number six is the number of our will and the number of creativity. Um, Number six is um, the process of where thoughts become things. If there's a will, there's a way. So first there's a thought, and then there has to be some will. And in order to have will, we need to be a little bit creative, right? We need to be creative and maybe changing our thought process to be more positive, to align with whatever it is that we want to create, because the thought cannot become a thing unless there's creative will that is in alignment to be able to manifest that for you. This is the problem with a lot of people thinking, oh, just be positive, just think it, and then it'll manifest. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Um, it works with you thinking something and then truly having the will and creative belief within you to take that thought and wrap all your faith and strength around it with the will to allow it to manifest before your eyes. That is the process. And so, really, that's what we're looking at here with the sun and the moon being at a total of 6 degrees with this full moon. Um, do you have the will? Where do you need to strengthen your will? Not only in the Pisces part of your chart, but in the Virgo part of your chart, for you to mentally wake up and realize that you have the potential to shed whatever it is from Pisces so you can actually move forward within the Pisces chart as well. Um, and that's what I want to talk about next is the North Node. So the North Node in this lunar eclipse, right? The nodes are connected with the eclipses, right? They're energetic points that are triggered by a moon, either a full moon or a new moon. New moon is with the solar eclipse, full moon is with the lunar eclipse. But right now we have a north node with the lunar eclipse, and we have a south node over here in Virgo that is going to be with the solar eclipse coming up in 2 weeks. And so it's interesting because it is literally a song and dance of letting go, shedding, ending something that is no longer serving us so we can also move forward, but in both the Pisces part of our chart and moving forward in the Virgo part of our chart. There's a balance and harmony that needs to take place in both accesses of this eclipse period in the Pisces and the Virgo part of our chart. Because the North Node is encouraging us to work with our Dharma to move forward. And the full moon lunar eclipse is asking us to shed what's no longer serving us anymore, to awaken to it, to allow it to rise up with the full moon. Those feelings, don't avoid it, be in it. It won't last forever. Those feelings won't last forever, but be in it. Be in that uncomfortable space and be observant and be aware and watch yourself. Take notes, tune in, be the observer. What is it that you need to let go of to move forward in that exact same space of Pisces for right now? And then we can do the same thing in 2 weeks from now with the solar eclipse. Yeah. So the lunar eclipse north node is at 18 degrees. So now when we add, again, we have the one for physical, right? This is like a major total lunar eclipse change of letting go and new beginnings that's going to affect us physically, affect us in our physical soul's path here in this lifetime. Not that it might literally manifest physically, but it's for your physical experience here, not on a spiritual level, but on your physical path, whatever it is for you. And number 8 is a very powerful number as well. But what I want to talk about right now is adding those numbers together, which adds to number 9. And number 9 is a threefold number. And then number 9 is the number of endings. And so when we look at the lunar eclipse and in shedding and letting go, and the number 9 is associated with it, it's like validation, confirmation, synchronicity, like, yes, yes, this is what it is. It's an ending. And sometimes it can be very hard to let go of things that you've been so accustomed to that have brought such a comfort to you. And it's hard to let it go. Pisces can do that. It could make it hard to let go because with Pisces there's the element of illusion and delusion where things can go a little bit too left field, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I see it as such a magical stance that's like forcing us to wake up mentally and bring some conscious light on what really needs to end that we've been holding on to for far too long and maybe creating some illusion and delusion around it. Number 3, um, I want to talk about the number 3 in this lunar eclipse because when we look at the lunar eclipse and the moon, as I said, the eclipses are energetic points connected with the moon. There is a difference of 3 degrees between the North Node and the moon. that matters as well. Um, when planets or energetic points come into contact with another planet, um, the exact degrees are always the most potent, but there's also a time of application before that exact degree, and there's a time of separation after that degree. But either way, myself as an astrologer, I like to use an orb of 3 to 5 degree range of where I feel and what I've experienced from um, my studies and my observation is that that's the most potent time between the 3 to 5 degree orb. And the North Node and the Moon right now is in a 3 degree separation with each other. Um, well, they're 3 degrees away from each other. And so with number three is the number of thought. It's the number of memory. And it's the mental number. And it's the number of thought before the will. Right? So it's where the thoughts formed first, and then we have to have the will, right? Number 6, which is a total of the full moon, right? The moon's at 15 degrees. 1 plus 5 equals 6. So the full moon's giving us this will, this nurturing will. And the north node being at 8 degrees, right? 1 plus 8 is 9. And so we're ending and shedding something, gaining the will to end and shed something of a mental process because it's 3 degrees between each other. Right. And over in Mercury, Mercury is all about the mental process. Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury's hosting the sun right now, shining some light on you, going, have you figured out what it is yet? You know, it might be triggering up some emotions to help you to realize what it is mentally um, that you need to shed in the Pisces part of your chart. So this is the numerology and synchronicity I'm seeing for that. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about, the last thing I wanted to talk about is Jupiter, because Jupiter is the host for this lunar eclipse that we're experiencing right now. And Jupiter's over here in Cancer. And Jupiter is the host because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of um, of Pisces. And so if you look at these lines here in an astrological chart they're called aspects, and it tells you the relationship that's going on. And Jupiter has this blue line that's connecting to the north node. Jupiter is at 19 degrees. The north node is at 18 degrees. 1 degree difference. Jupiter is at 19 degrees, 1 and 0, physical, spiritual. Um, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And Jupiter loves to be in Cancer. Jupiter's just having a great time um, expanding in such a nurturing, motherly, bonding, like just such a beautiful, homely way. And providing that harmonic support for this lunar eclipse in shedding and letting go. That is at 9 degrees with the north node. So it's letting go of lunar eclipse, north node, of what already needs to end, number 9, that might be a little, there might have been a little illusion or delusion around those topics for you being in Pisces. Um, and it's being supported in a harmonious way by Jupiter, which is blessing you because Jupiter expands and blesses us. Um, in the Cancer part of your chart, in a physical and a spiritual way to create that balance for you. Harmonic balance, 1 and 0, Jupiter in a trine. Trine is about harmony. The trine relationship is it's just it's a blessed harmonic relationship between those two planets and the experience between those two planets. And so this really is such I hope you see the magic that I'm seeing in this connection. There's a lot of nines within this lunar eclipse and full moon. And I also want to um, remind us that right now in 2025, if we look at the numerology, we are living out a number nine year. 2025 adds up to number nine. And so, for all of us on a collective level, we're being asked to end and shed something so something incredible can blossom. There is some incredible seedings that are happening with this eclipse that is going to extend into the spring of next year, 2026. Um, and it's an unfolding story. Astrology is an unfolding story, and this is just one aspect of it. So I hope that that was inspiring for you, the numerology in connection to the numerology of the planets, um, and what it means in the axis point of this eclipse period. I'm gonna check with the chat to see. I think I've got some people with me here. I haven't checked here, but let me check. Um, oh, I got a heart. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Let me see here. We've got some people here. Okay. Great. I'm gonna move forward because this is recorded too, and I know that some people cannot be here to watch right at this time, so that's okay. I'm gonna talk about the tarot now. So I'm going to stop sharing and just bring myself up here. Um, there are three cards that I have that are in association with these transits, with the lunar eclipse, full moon, and Pisces. All right, so first I want to talk about the North Node, which is at the Nine of Cups. Let's see if we can see this here. Nine of Cups. And so again, we've got nine, and we got sheddings of what no longer serves us with the North Node in Pisces. Um, the Nine of Cups it's a nice card. It is a positive card of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, being of cups. Um, and it's a card where there's a pride in the fulfillment of what you've achieved emotionally. And it's also a message that these um, efforts that you've made emotionally are not going to go unnoticed. So, whatever it is for you in the Pisces part of your chart, um, because the lunar eclipse, I mean, it's at number nine, the North Node's at number nine of endings and sheddings. But the North Node is also the North Node is to move forward, but the lunar eclipse is of endings and sheddings. So this Nine of Cups being at the North Node to move forward, it's like, okay, yes, we have this beautiful pride of the emotional growth that we've gained in the Pisces part of our chart. And we're going to have incredible efforts being made, and we're going to be celebrated, and we're going to be recognized and appreciated for those efforts. But at the same time, um, there's always a polarity point. And so this is what I want to talk about because this is the number nine, and it's the number nine is the number of sheddings and endings, but it's for something new to grow. And I always feel like there's always this, because it's number nine, it's not number 10. Number 10 is that balance and harmony of physical and spiritual. So there's just something else that needs to be shed. I feel like there's just something else that's going to take you from that nine of cups and bring you into that 10 of cups where it's like final. What is it that you need to shed? You're almost there. You're at the very end of it emotionally. That's of a more watery nature. And think about your thoughts and the mental process. Remember, thoughts start first and then the emotions come attached to it. But sometimes the emotions are so strong that it's easier to kind of reflect and look and observe our emotions. And then we understand where the thought form is starting from. And then we can unravel this newfound perspective and understanding of where we need to grow. So that's Nine of Cups associated with the North Node and the Moon, actually. It's within that decan. And so the tarot is associated to the decans in astrology within each zodiac sign. So this Nine of Cups is associated with not only the North Node of moving forward, but also with the full moon lunar eclipse of shedding and letting go. And that is why I see it not only as the positive card that it is in the sense of um, achieving so much greatness already. But there is that little last bit that can't be ignored or forgotten. We don't want it to rise back up again. Okay, I want to move on to the Sun and Mercury that's over in Virgo that is shining light and asking us to pay attention to our mental faculties in creating that change, that transformative change that's going to break barriers and create some freedom for us, right? We've got the Nine of Pentacles. And again, number nine, right? Um, Second decan of Virgo. Um, Nine of Pentacles is it's independence, it's confidence, it's security, it's stability, it's looking at all the physical fruits of our labor and that what we've accomplished with confidence and courage. And we're really like we're proud of it, right? Again, there's a sense of pride, but we have to be careful not to overlook some minute detail that we might be missing that is a piece of the puzzle for completion. Number nine is completion, but there's a little bit of pride there. We need to nip that little bud of what is it that we're missing or we might be overlooking. Because when we look at the sun and moon being in Virgo, Virgo is all about the details. It's all about breaking it down, getting down deep and like reassess, breaking everything down to reassess, right? But you got to look at all the fine little details to figure it out. So right now, the universe is asking you to pay attention of your mental faculties to bring some consciousness into yourself in the Virgo part of your chart to break it down and figure out what that one little piece is that's going to help you in the Pisces part of your chart to shed and let go. And that's what I have. For Sun and Mercury, nine pentacles. And Jupiter, I'm going to end it out with Jupiter. Jupiter is at Three of Cups. Celebrate. Of course. Of course. Um, Jupiter, Three of Cups in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted, meaning it is having the best time of its life right now in Cancer. But Jupiter could also be reassessing things as well, because Jupiter also can expand things out of control that might be in a little bit of an overwhelming way as well. It all depends on your independent chart and what aspects that Jupiter is making to maybe some other planets outside of this lunar eclipse. But bottom line, there is hope for celebration. The Three of Cups. Again, we're talking about the emotions, we're talking about Cancer, we're talking about Pisces. There's a lot of water energy, harmonious water energy, but we're asked to also not forget about our mental faculties. But this is a celebration, this is a coming together. This is also reuniting, so things might reunite and just piece back together in such a harmonious and beautiful and balanced way. And that is my forecast for the tarot of the astrology for this lunar eclipse 2025. Okay, I am going to move on to some journal questions before we get into the meditation. Now, I'm going to check back with the chat again. I feel like I'm stumbling over my words. I've probably been doing that a lot, and I'm just like, first time on live, so bear with me. But I'm going to move on to some journal questions. I have 5 questions for you in reflection to the Pisces part of your chart, the topics in the Pisces part of your chart in regards to bringing conscious awareness to this full moon energy of where you need to shed in the lunar eclipse so you can move forward with the North Node in Pisces, all within that same house, all within those same topics. Okay, I'm going to share my screen for this again. And then I'm going to just, go through the five questions. This is very straightforward, these questions. I encourage you to either screenshot this or write down these questions for yourself. Take a little bit more time with it than what I'm going to spend right now. Um, because you really want to take your time with asking questions. Asking questions is so key in our journey of healing, in our journey of creating observation and becoming aware to things that we might be blinded to. We have to keep an open mind, we have to keep an open heart, and we need to have a broader perspective and be willing to understand that there are multiple perspectives, and there could be just one minute thing that just shifts your paradigm into a new perspective that can change everything for you. That's literally all it takes. And so you want to take your time and not rush this process. Again, I'm going to just run through them quickly, but take your, I'm going to check the chat after again, but screenshot it or write down the questions for later purposes. Okay. Oh, I chose the one. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh gosh. Okay, here. Share. There we go, Tracy. Now, um, hold on. Let me bring up for myself here so I can see what's going on here. 5 journal questions I have for you. Okay, number 1, what do you need to let go of in the Pisces part of your chart? Now, before I go forward, I want you to understand that healing is all about simplicity. We're not here to complicate the process. That's all the baggage and all the bullshit that we have wrapped around us that we're trying to get rid of is the complications. Healing should be easy. Healing should be simple. Healing should be one thing at a time. Healing should just be, let's break it down in the simplest form so we can take some pressure off of ourselves. And so when you ask yourself questions, these are very simple questions, but when you take the time to sit with it and in contemplation, remember, contemplation is very important. You are working with your mental faculties, which gives that time and space to expand your mind and allow your intuition and the ideas to start flowing in to create a new awareness for you. Um, and that's why it's so powerful to take your time with it. And that's why it's so powerful to have simple questions. It's Sigmund Freud is the creator of all these questions. With any coach or anyone who is working with healing and asking questions, and it's all about simplicity. So, number 2, what holds you back from achieving your goals in the Pisces part of your chart? Number 3, what or who are you creating an illusion around? I want to talk about this one just for a second because this one's huge. What or who are you creating an illusion around? Pisces is about illusion and delusion. Every sign has a positive and a negative. Not every sign is the end all be all greatest of all time. Every sign has a negative and a positive. We're not all perfect. And so for Pisces, the challenge is the illusion and the delusion. And oftentimes we have this illusion around certain experiences that we want to happen or certain relationships where we want the person to be in a certain way, and we have this illusion of how we we see it. How do you envision it? You envision it in a certain way, and sometimes your vision for a certain individual in your life or a certain circumstance or a certain experience is illusional because it's not the truth. Sometimes we're wanting someone to be in a certain way. We're wanting them to be a certain way, but they're just not. And we're not getting what we need from them because we have this illusion wrapped around the truth of who they are right now. And they may not be able to be whoever it is that you want them to be illusionally in your mind, heart, spirit, and soul. And we need to be aware of that. And that's a huge one to awaken to. Um, yeah, you might need a minute to take with that one, but that's a big one. I had to talk about that one. Moving on. Number 4. What habits may you be delusional? What habits may be delusional to your goals? What habits may be delusional to your goals? This is another huge one. Um, Pisces also, in regards to delusion, delusion's a little bit different than illusion. It's not the same thing. Um, but with delusion, it is knowing that you have a habit in the Pisces part of your chart. You're aware of it, but you don't want to acknowledge it. There's something about that habit in the Pisces part of your chart that you don't want to acknowledge because it makes you feel some kind of guilt or shame or grief or some kind of lower level consciousness that doesn't feel good. And so you will create this illusional story around that topic, creating a delusion to deny the truth. And this is a major challenge with the Pisces energy. Not everyone is going to experience this very significantly. It all depends on what, again, whether you have planets in that house, whether they're on the exact degrees, whether Pisces falls into an angled house. But this is a downfall, and this being aware of this is where we can become aware of where we need to let go, what we need to shed, what we need to awaken to, what Virgo over on the polar axis is shining light on with Mercury saying, hello, let's look at the details. Let's open this up. Let's break it down and assess it. And number 5, the last one, why are you not moving forward where you know you need to change? I mean, number 5 really connects with number 4. And so these are the 5 questions that I have for you. Again, please feel free to screenshot this, write down these questions yourself on your own paper, and create a sacred space for yourself where you can have some time alone to really sit and contemplate these questions. I want to, before I go on with the meditation and check chat, and before I end it out here, I always say this with healing. Healing requires us to go into the subconscious. This is a full moon. Healing requires us to go into that dark space that nobody wants to go into. Healing requires you to face the bullshit that's standing in front of you, in front of your own way, that we are often in denial of. And it requires you to be in a space that's uncomfortable. And I'm sure you've heard this before. And I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, or I'm here to be transparent. You have to go through that shit. You have to be in it. Because if you don't, the full moons are always going to keep bringing up those emotions until you're ready to face it. What I do want you to know is that uncomfortable feeling will not last forever. It feels like it sometimes when you're in it. It's horrible. It's horrible when you are feeling these emotions and these memories start coming and you are on an emotional breakdown where you're crying and you want to scream at the top of your lungs. And this is a normal process of healing. It doesn't feel good and it feels like it's going to last forever, but it will subside. And as long as you go into that space as the observer, intention is everything. Remember, I talked about intention with the candle. Intention's everything. So when you're asking these questions, intend to go in and see your own self and see your own truth as the observer. You're going in to contemplate, to become aware of, kind of like you're stepping outside of yourself, looking in at yourself and going, holy shit. Yo, okay, I do that shit and I do that shit and I do that shit. And then I'm going to start with one thing to work on. And I'm not going to overwhelm myself. And that's how the process works. So I just want you to know to go in as the observer, never go into that emotional space without observing for the objective of awareness for healing, because you'll get lost in a trap of emotions and a time warp that is not relevant to this present moment, that can cause you to slide into depression, that can cause major anxiety. And that's the last thing that we want. We are not here to fall down the rabbit hole of suppression and depression and mental health. We are here to rise above it and to heal. And to do that, we need to take a good hard look at ourselves, but we need to do it with the right intentions, with the right space. So make yourself a priority in this and create that space. Take the time to create your space, to light those candles. They are significant, they are symbolic. Light some incense, put on some music. I can't put music here because we're live for copyright, but do that for yourself because you're worth it. And that's my rant. Okay, I'm gonna check with chat again. This is my first live, so I'm not expecting a huge amount of people to be with me live, but I'm sure there are some people, and I think I'm on a delay um, again, so I'm just gonna refresh my page here and check um, live chat. Let's see. Okay, no, I don't see anything. That's okay. That's all right. I'm gonna move forward. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stop my screen and I'm going to move forward with meditation. This is a guided meditation. I'm going to share my screen. I have an image up there for those of you who visually want something to look at, but I will also be up in the corner screen guiding you through this meditation. Um, I just want to talk about a few things before I get started so you understand what the process is. I want you to be comfortable in this meditation. So find a space wherever you're comfortable. You do not need to be in the lotus position for meditation. Please understand this. Too many people feel that they have to sit there in this lotus position with their legs crossed for meditation. It's not going to be more relevant if your legs are crossed. And to be honest, the people who are able to meditate in that lotus position are probably doing some active physical yoga. Yoga takes many forms. Meditation is also a form of yoga. Yoga is a way of life. And so when you look at physical yoga, the exercise, you become mobile. And when you're mobile, your bodies are limb and they can move and bend like a pretzel, then you can easily get into that lotus position and you can do your meditation however you want in that position if you want. Now, if you are not someone who does yoga on the physical exercise on a regular basis, it is going to be the most uncomfortable experience of your life and you'll never be able to relax enough to be able to calm your mind and focus for meditation. So just be comfortable. Sit upright. I recommend not lying down just because if you're lying down, you have the tendency and ability to fall asleep very easily. And we want you to be conscious, deep in a meditative state, but yet still conscious. So sit in a chair, make sure your feet are grounded to the earth, meaning feet flat on the ground. Even if you're not in the earth, even if you're in an apartment building, even if you're on a floor that's not right at the bottom, it doesn't matter. Have your feet grounded on the ground and you just are visualizing yourself grounded to earth. Once they're planted on the ground, you set that intention. Intention is everything, that you are grounded. And that's all that matters. Intention is everything. So sitting upright, feet grounded to the ground, any position that you want where you're comfortable, just make sure your body is relaxed. I am going to guide you into the alpha state. And if you're familiar with any of my meditations, this is the brainwave state of pure relaxation. It's very hard to meditate just by closing your eyes and trying to go into a meditation one time because your mind is in a beta state of your day-to-day physical activities. We need to be in the beta state to be able to move and do the things that we need to do on a daily basis. But when it comes to meditation, we need to now relax ourselves and be in that pure state of relaxation. That means the mind and the brain the brain waves have to move into a different state. And the alpha state is the most beautiful state for meditation. And so I'm going to guide you through a visual and counting exercise to get into the alpha state. I do need to explain how this works because I can't explain it along the way when we start the meditation. Um, so you have to know what I'm doing as I say it. So to get into the alpha state, I am going to be having you visualize within your mind with your eyes closed. I'm going to say, visualize the number three. And I want you to picture in your mind a big number three. It's probably backwards for you, it's the opposite. But I want you to visualize the number three in your mind. And then I'm going to say 333 after I tell you to visualize 333. When I say 333, what I want you to do in your mind's voice is also say 333. So you are visualizing the number, and then with your inner voice are saying 333. Then you're going to visualize the number two, and then you're going to say in your mind's voice 222. And then you're going to do the exact same thing for number one. After that, you do nothing. And I am going to simply count from 10 all the way down to 1. Just follow my voice, and I will guide you into that state of pure relaxation. By the time we hit number 1, you should be in the alpha state. You should be relaxed. And then from there, just follow my voice. I'm going to guide you to release some energy with Mother Earth. I'm going to guide you to your heart chakra for some healing. I'm going to guide you to your crown chakra, which is at the crown of your head, to connect with your higher self. And I'll give you some time to spend with your higher self to receive the message that you are meant to receive right now at this time. After that, I will guide you back through the chakras, grounding back down to Mother Earth. And then we will end it out there. That will be the end of this live. And again, I want to thank you so much for those of you who have joined me live. And I want to thank you so much for those of you who are watching the recording. Um, and I wish you an abundance of beautiful healing in the awareness of what you need to let go of so you can move forward. Um, If you want to get in touch with me for anything, you can visit soultosoul.ca. I have readings there available and have a lot of content on astrology. If you're looking to just understand the basics of your chart, that's all you really need. You can follow any astrologer, but as long as you know the basics, you know your chart, you know what houses and what zodiacs within what house, and you know what your planets are. That's all you need to know right now. I just want to cover that because at the end of the meditation, I will be ending out and shutting down the live one time. So let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. I think I will check back with the chat one more time before I end out. Um, but again, find a comfortable space where you can sit down and ground yourself to Mother Earth with your feet flat on the ground. Close your eyes, of course, and we'll get started here in a few minutes. Oh, what am I doing here? Hold on a minute. Very glitchy. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Got the right screen on here now. Oh gosh. Okay. Um, all right, guys, we're gonna get started with this meditation. Okay. Just want to make sure I have this image up for you. This image is also very, very symbolic. Um, I also want to let you know that if at any time you feel like your mind is wandering through the meditation, you start thinking about laundry and what you gotta make for dinner, your kids or whoever it is in your life, what you got to do tomorrow for work, bring it back to your breath. As soon as you feel yourself getting off topic, bring it back to your breath. Just focus on your breath and bring it back. This shouldn't happen because it's a guided meditation, so you'll be hearing my voice, but I will be giving you some time to just be in the energy, to be with your soul self. And this is where the mind can wander, especially if you're not doing meditation on a regular basis or you're not used to meditation. The ego mind and logical mind can come and knock on your door real fast with meditation. So breath. Just remember breath. Or you can come back, if you're a visual person, to this image. You can just focus on this image to center yourself, bring it back, and then jump back in. Okay. Okay. So I will have you close your eyes and just simply pay attention to the flow of your breath, breathing in and out in its natural form. I want to start relaxing the body, starting at the head, feeling relaxed and light, moving down to the shoulders. As your shoulders drop, you feel a weight being lifted, and you feel the relaxation moving down towards your torso, relaxing the load, moving down towards your legs, feeling it all through your arms, relaxed. Your legs down through your calves, all the way down through your feet. You are grounded and stable with Mother Earth. Breathing. We're going to breathe in for 4 and slowly out for 4 before I move you into the alpha state. The in breath will be faster than the out breath, both on a count of 4. Breathing in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold slowly out, 2, 3, and 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and slowly out, 2, 3, 4. Visualizing the number 3, 3, 3. Visualizing number 2, 2, 2, 2. Visualizing number 1, 1, 1, 1. 10, 9. Going deeper, 8, and deeper, 7, 6, and deeper, 5, deeper, 4, and 3, moving to 2, and deeper, 1. You are now in the alpha state. I want you to imagine and visualize everything within your mind, your emotions, your heart, and your spirit being moved down from your head all the way through down your physical body, down your arms, down your torso, moving down throughout your legs and being transmuted to Mother Earth. All thoughts, emotions from your body, mind, spirit that are no longer serving you, that you need to shed, releasing it to Mother Earth, allowing Mother Earth to transmute it and dissolve it for you, providing you that nurturing support in harmonic balance as you ground with Mother Earth. Take some time to think about what you need to release and send it down. What is it within your mind? What is it within your heart? What do you hold within your emotions that you need to release, to let go of? Releasing it all down to Mother Earth. We want to turn our attention to your heart chakra, which is right in the middle of your chest and shines with a beautiful emerald green. I want you to visualize that emerald green color circulating in a clockwise direction, opening and expanding. Ask for healing where you need it most. Don't be specific. Just simply ask for the healing of where you need it most. Just be with this energy for a moment. I'd like you now to bring your attention to the crown chakra at the top of your head and visualize white golden light shining above from this space and filling your entire mind, filling your mental faculties, helping you to observe and bring awareness to what no longer serves you. Allow this energy to circulate in a clockwise direction, opening and expanding, healing you where you need it most. Imagine this energy is raising up about a foot above your head and is connecting with your soul self, your higher self. Say hello. Take a moment to be in this space. Ask yourself, what do I need to know right now? And just simply wait for a healing message that's meant for you on your path at this moment. Pay attention to what you feel, what you see, what you hear, sense, and know. All right. Guiding you back down to your heart chakra, moving into that center space within your chest, your heart space, vibrating and expanding in a beautiful emerald green, giving thanks for the healing that you've received through this experience, intending for this healing to continue within your heart moving forward, solidifying what no longer serves you, and harmonizing within your heart, your mind, your body, and your spirit. Moving back down to Mother Earth and grounding back to Mother Earth, thanking her for the nurturing, support, and for taking care of our burdens and transmuting what no longer serves us. You can come back and open your eyes whenever you're ready. And again, I want to thank you so much for being with me here today. Many blessings to you.